my shot and it's clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Manic Monday right here on YSN Live. Your boys, DJ Yoakley, Anthony Hartwig, with you once again for this wild ride we call the work week. Ant, what an incredible weekend it was in the world of sports right here on your sports network. Still trying to lower my blood pressure, my heart rate after that incredible game last night, essentially, 6 p.m. game. The Louisville Leopards heading to state.
Wow. I mean, DJ, I'm sure you were listening just like I was. It was looking bleak. It was looking real bleak. Third
Down
quarter,
11?
Comes out. Garfield Heights just kind of dominates the third quarter. It was like 16-6 in the third. It felt like they had all the momentum in the world. They score first in the fourth quarter. They're up by 11. You're thinking, oh man, the way this game's going, the defensive nature it was, it's going to be really hard for Louisville to make an 11-point comeback right here. But you know what? Those cardiac cats, man, they never say die. Their defense for the last 7 minutes and 32 seconds of that game held the number one team in the division to no points. 0 points. 2 points in the whole quarter. 0 points for 7 minutes and 32 seconds. Gave them enough time to come back. It was slowly but surely on the offensive end. Garfield Heights was still playing good defense, but Louisville slowly but surely got those 12 points they needed to win the game by 49-48. What an incredible fourth quarter for the Leopards, and what a never say die mentality.
I was watching some of the interviews after on the different networks, on the different social media sites. Pardon me. And Tom Siegfried's an absolute dog. Absolute dog. And the Louisville's they're a wagon. We've used that term before. A powerhouse. They don't get near enough the respect that they deserve. I think that, and I don't want to you look at Heights and what they were able to do. And I just think, I don't want to take anything away from Louisville. Let's not do that. But I think they took their foot off the pedal. They thought they had enough.
Probably.
They thought it was over in the bag. Because I'm sure when you beat down teams like the way they do, there's a white flag, there's a tap out, whatever you want to do. There was none of that happening.
One of the things that I noticed too, while watching some of the highlights from this game, we all know Garfield Heights is a team that likes to play fast.
Yeah.
And they could not they just didn't have the opportunity to slow themselves down. They were taking really rush shots when they were up, which I was kind of like,
Take time off the clock, right?
You don't have to jack up this three. Even when they were down by 1, they had the ball with maybe like a minute left, and they took a really quick three and missed it. Louisville got the rebound. I'm thinking like, you don't need a three. It wasn't a great shot. It wasn't wide open. It was pretty contested. But I think they just had that mentality all year of this is how we play basketball. They never got out of it. And in this case, it came back to bite them a little bit in that fourth quarter because they could not find a way to slow the game down.
And this is something that we're trying to get something with Louisville, something special this week. Obviously, this is uncharted territory for this program, So we're trying to get down their way and maybe interview a bunch of them and to have something special for them, with our friends at Spotlight Media and the entire team in Louisville. But dude, getting back to kind of what you were talking about, I think that, and Garfield Heights knows themselves better than anybody else, right?
Yep.
When you try to change your game and they're a transition, get out in front, roll down the floor, play pickup ball, that's their game. And when you try to slow things down, I think not playing your game scares you a little bit more than missing shots and doing what you do best. So I think there was a little bit of that. And, obviously we can sit here and we could be Monday morning quarterbacks or point guards in this case and sit there and be like, yeah, you should have taken 20 seconds more off the clock but what happens if, right? You look at the other side and you go, yeah, well, if they slow things down and all of a sudden they're playing Louisville's game, Louisville maybe wins the game by 10 or 15.
Yeah, and you still got the feeling from Garfield Heights' side, if they hit maybe 1 or 2 buckets down the stretch, it's like the game's theirs. The shots didn't go for the last 2 minutes of the game, and it mixed in with a couple of really big block shots from Braden Gross. By the way,
surprise!
Garfield Heights had no answer for him. He had 24 points on the night, plenty of block shots, a couple of more turnovers forced. They did on both sides of the ball. They really did not have any kind of answer for BG, and not many teams in the state of Ohio are going to have an answer for that kid.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, if that place held 4,600, the way that we were told, there were 4,000 Louisville Leopards in that building, and that's not an exaggeration. Yes. I mean, that place was electric. You could hear it through the headsets of Rob and Mac. And what I thought above all else was really impressive was the videos. We have a picture from Gary Leininger, rather. That there's a picture of Tom Siegfried just standing like this. And it feels like there's a million people in blue and light blue behind him. Yep. Like if there was the caption would be, in my mind, "We got your back, coach." Because it was electric. And then you've got our buddy Rob Johnson sitting there going, bang, 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 bang. We got it, baby. We're going to state, baby. He's high-fiving people. The video was going on and off.
They turned it on after the game was over because obviously at that point, the video rights go away. The game's over. They were on the floor. They were not up in the perch. They were not up in the PA box they have up there. They were on the floor with the crowd, and you could see people right in front of the camera getting high fives. And
I'm pretty sure that Rob Johnson
selling the celebration.
I'm pretty sure he was high-fiving anybody that was in arms. There were people coming over to the table and high-fiving him. I'm sitting there. I had the biggest smile on my face. I mean, there was a lot to smile about yesterday. From I had a great day yesterday. It was a great Sunday, but that was going on, and I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm so proud because that community, the Louisville community, they wanted it. Mm-hmm. They deserved it. And you and I both know the way that book usually winds up, right? It's like what could have been. And 11 points down, they march back, not only into it, they just start hammering threes, taking big shots that go in. Like you said, defense. Rob talked about the defense and how defense has stepped up all year long. They've locked down not just some of the area's top players, the nation's top players. They put on lockdown and they've. What do they do in the pros? They do this thing, the buckle them up. So it's dude, it's so awesome. And we'll be there. YSN will be there. We're sending Rob, a photographer, and Mac Aljancic to Dayton. And I think Rob might be able to fly there because he is floating above everybody else right now, man. He is so high on life. In Louisville that he's geeked. He's geeked, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for that community. I hope, how cool would it be if they show up because they canceled school on Friday?
Oh, absolutely.
How cool would it be to have 4,000 people in the UD gym representing Louisville? I'm buying the game. I mean, we're not doing a show Friday. We are not. Because of obviously the Louisville game, but we are also, it's March Madness. So you and I are going to be somewhere drinking a couple Mountain Dews.
Well, yeah, I'll it'll be a cheat day. How about that?
It'll be. I mean, one of us is going to be drinking Mountain Dews literally, the other one figuratively.
But it's Friday, 1:00 against Cincinnati Aiken. Louisville's got one more step to get the trophy, man. And then Saturday, Braden and Bo are both coming to the All-Star game, and I think if they win, they should just bring the whole team.
Bring them all. Bring the championship trophy. We will celebrate Louisville. They're one of us, folks. They're one of us, and nobody knows that better than you.
Powder blue, we'll get it. We'll get the powder blue confetti.
We almost had the powder blue shirts this year too at the All-Star game. That would have been. Yeah,
and we do have powder blue All-Star shirts. I think the volleyball gum one from 2 years ago at Westminster. We did powder blue.
People are asking. It's a good shift to. We got a few minutes before we get to the Jimmy interview, but people are asking about the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be transparent here, man. You and I are kind of running the show for the All-Star game for the most part. There's been there's a lot of people coming. A lot of people. The RSVP list is long and strong, and it's going to be a great night. Why haven't we come out with the official rosters yet? And well, here's why. I mean, and Ant, you can correct me if I'm way off base here. We are battling spring breaks. We are battling out of towners. We're battling people that have, hey, we've had enough.
And softball season, softball season starts that Saturday. There are teams that have teams that game, and there are players that have baseball first mindsets. That the season for them will be less than a week away. They want to make sure they're ready for baseball. So we totally respect both of those. And we would never ask someone else that has a game going on to skip a softball or baseball game or scrimmage and come to the All-Star game. But that's just another thing that we're kind of bumping into a little bit. But that's every All-Star game. We're going to be bumping into something. We just try to navigate as best we can and pivot as best we can and get as many people as we can there.
Yeah, and we're navigating through it. So what we're trying to do, the deadline was Friday. Pardon me I'm burping up Gatorade like you wouldn't believe right now. The TMI. But it's one of those situations where we're bumping into some of these like, hey, some no responses, which is still kind of wild to me.
Unfortunately,
it's not frustrating. Just like, okay, like who do we contact?
Right.
We got to the majority athletic directors. It is a little bit weird because it's not coming from a YSN email address. It's coming from our buddy Chris Sigler, who runs a lot of this stuff for us as the assistant general manager and does a great job with it. And people just don't see it. And they're like, oh, okay. So then you have to contact them because they get mad because, hey, we never got an invite. You did. We promise you. Go back, look at, type in Sigler. It'll pop right up. And now we have to move on. We had 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks of sending these out. And now we've got to move on. We want every school to be represented. It's not happening. That's a dream. I don't think I really want it to happen one year. We've been very close.
Really close. I think the closest we got was the volleyball game 2 years ago. If I remember right, we had one team that wasn't there. We were like, it's frustrating, but we will get there. We will get there one day. We're going to
get there. We're going to get there. I think baseball and softball has the best shot at it, to be honest with you. But we'll see. And it's going to be a great night. We're going to have a graphic go out tonight, kind of with the outline of when things are going to happen, because that's a big question that people are asking. I can tell you right now, check-in is going to be at 4:00. That is going to be when the doors open. Check-in will occur. We will also be letting people in buy tickets to get in. Tickets are going to be $5. The first game will be at 5:00. That will be the girls' all-star basketball game. We will then go to the girls' three-point competition immediately following. We think it's going to be about 6:15, 6:30. That's our hope. It's pretty standard. You know what I mean? For what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
We'll go
2 25-minute running clock halves for the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean,
there's halftime in between to get the postseason awards announced.
Yep.
So yeah, the girls All-Star game, if everything goes smoothly, should be done by 6. Set up the skills competitions; those should be running by 6:15.
Yeah, so we got 6:15 girls 3-point contest,
Mhm.
then the boys 3-point contest, then the girls 3-2-1 contest, then the boys slam dunk contest, and then the boys all-star game. We will also have right before, I want to say it is the 3-2-1, we will have the national anthem. Why are we doing it? Because number one, we want to honor America. We want everybody to be there because we got something special cooking. We got something special cooking with the people of Boardman and Project Mayhem. So we want everybody to be there. Above all else, we are, and not to get political, I love this country. I love our country. They're not doing this in other countries. I can promise you that the way that we do it, and we're honored to be able to do this. And we want to say thank you, and again, pledge allegiance to that flag, because at the end of the day, we're so grateful to be able to do it. So, I also wanted to tell people that we are making it so veterans and first responders and active military, you're getting in free. You're getting in free. Always. Absolutely always. So if you tell us, you served or you're serving, you're in. We don't want your money. You've given enough. And we want to give back to you. We want to put on a show for you, and certainly you again, $5 is the least of our concerns when it comes to what you've been able to give us or what are giving us currently. So letting people know that we'll promote that more. I think that's where it is. That's where we need to be. I think that we should all be doing that.
So I can tell you that the girls roster, the girls total is locked down. We have 60 players coming, representing 52 different schools.
100%.
100%. Hundo.
We're locked.
The boys we're still waiting on a couple. Their season goes longer, obviously, so they're a little bit behind. A little bit.
Still going.
Boy, luckily the Louisville kids have confirmed they will be there. Bar none. We were happy that they are the Friday game in Dayton, because last year we had to have teams miss because they were playing in-state on the Saturday game. So
yeah, that was frustrating. And we still got yelled at. I mean, sorry, we would much rather we would much rather them be in Dayton right now. I wish all of our teams were in Dayton. They were like, "Hey, we can't have an all-star game."
Right?
Great, go support them.
Great, go.
Sorry, I mean, we give out some sweet T-shirts, but I'd probably want to have that trophy more than a T-shirt at this point.
So it's gonna be a fun weekend.
Ant, let's segue into the interview. I mean, you got a great opportunity to have a sit down with a great man, state champion coach, and a guy that has not only turned that program around, he has that Midas touch, that golden touch on everything he seemingly comes in contact with. You want to kind of talk about this interview that you had this morning?
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to focus on when talking to Coach this morning was just how how he's able to sustain a program. We've talked to a couple other coaches as well during these baseball previews that have had success over a long amount of time on what it takes to not just have one good year or 2 good years, but build success off of that. And that's one of the focuses of this interview. We talk about Caleb Hadley and what it's going to be like to not be having him behind the plate anymore. Obviously, that's one of the biggest losses, I think, in the baseball as far as graduation goes. Kids that graduated last year, you try to replace a Caleb Hadley behind the plate, you're just not going to do it. But they have a freshman coming in that's going to be really exciting, and we talk about that, what it's like to have a true freshman come in and try to fill the shoes of a bona fide all-star for JFK. They have a lot of talent returning outside of that. And then the pitching depth, I think, is another big topic of this interview, because JFK has a lot of strong arms on the mound, and they are going to use that depth all season long, especially come tournament time. I let a lot of tournament teams go 1-2, 1-2, but if they have to go 1-3 or 1-4, or they're not going to miss a beat with the arms they have. So we talk about the depth on the mound, as well as many other things in this interview. But it's a great conversation with one of the best coaches in the area, definitely one of the most well-respected coaches in the area, and a state champion.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You threw me off with that last one. State champion. And without further ado, Anthony got to sit down with head coach of the Warren JFK Eagles baseball team, Mr. and Coach Jim Chimbotti.
Anthony Hartwig here with a Warren JFK baseball season preview Coach's Corner. We are joined by James Chimbotti. Coach, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
No problem. It's great to be here.
And Warren JFK is one of the most elite programs that we've seen in the area, especially over the last 5 or so years. Before we talk about this season and all the excitement that is around this team this year, I wanted to just kind of quickly recap last year, maybe some of the lessons that you think the returning players can take from the experiences that they had a season ago.
Yeah, it ended disappointingly in Louisville, but I think the kids that were on the ball club last year. I mean, when you go through the district and you win a regional semifinal, I think that's you're putting these guys through playoff experience, which can only help down the road.
The old cliche is the further you go, the harder it is to lose. And of course, we all know that because the closer you get to a state championship, the more it hurts. But it can also make you hungrier for the next season. How hungry do you think this group of guys is based on how far they got last year and how close they got to tasting that sweet nectar of a state championship?
Our seniors have really done a tremendous job. They've worked hard in the off season. It's like you said, that disappointment is really driving them, and hopefully we can come close to the success we had.
One of the big reasons why you'll have success, of course, are the players on the field. Let's have a meet the team segment. Can you go over the roster a little bit, talk about the big names that are going to be making impacts on the Eagles this year, and maybe some new faces that we'll see this season too?
Yeah. First, we'll start behind the plate where we had a big loss with Caleb Hadley. I'm leaving us, so we're going to split time there with a freshman, Landon Snyder, who came over. He's a true freshman, and Michael Bartow, who saw time there last year at the behind the plate. First base, again, a couple guys will be shifting in and out. It'll be Dom Ryan. Second base, we got Lucas Mealy, transfer from Lakeview. Unfortunately, we only have him for half the season. At short, we've moved Taggart Carfangio from the outfield into the infield at short. And we have Trevin Rink at third base to start. And obviously all these positions will change because these kids all pitch. And then just like every season with me, it always starts on the mound. And we got, Freddie Bolchuk, Taggart Carfangio, Andrew LaPaula, I'm sorry. Andrew LaPaula, Michael Bartow. So the strength of this ball club still is going to be the pitching depth that we have.
Yeah, like you said, everything starts with the pitching, and you have maybe one of the most deep staffs in the area. Talk about what it's like to manage a pitching staff like that as a coach, what a blessing it is, especially at the high school level, to be able to go to different arms in different situations, and how you kind of deal with managing such a deep staff.
Well, you know the old cliche, you never have enough pitching. We trot them out there, with the weather early in the season. We'll see how many we can get on the mound, different points between days off. But it's always good to have arms. I mean, that's everybody. I think every high school or every baseball program would attest to that.
On the other side of the game in the offensive end, we'll talk about your lineup and what you expect out of the offense this year.
Well, the heart of the lineup's is gonna have to do the damage. The Dom Ryans, the Michael Bartos, the Trevin Rinks, Taggart Carfangias. Those guys they're going to be the driving force. We're going to try LaPaul on the leadoff spot. Hopefully, he can get on to give these guys a chance to drive in some runs.
I'm really interested that you have, a true freshman coming up into a catcher's position, which is a really hard position to just kind of take the reins of, especially, coming in as a freshman. Talk about what you see from him and how much he's been able to find his own identity in it. I'm sure that you've had to have conversations with him of, you're not Caleb Hadley. Don't try to, replace him. Just kind of be yourself back there behind the plate. What's it been like for you so far? I know you haven't started the season yet, but so far in the offseason to see kind of the development of him behind the plate.
Yeah, we talked to him. We don't want to try to overload him early on. We're trying to, make his talent talk. So we're trying to keep the mental side as basic as it can be. We're going to have to show patience. But so far he's good. He's a great athlete. And so far so good in a couple of situations we put him in, but we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, and the one thing about baseball season, it's a lot of games in a short amount of time. And it seems like the season's getting more crunched and crunched as the OHSA extends the basketball season a little bit longer every year. As a coach, what's it like from your perspective to try to, keep the kids motivated, keep them, out of getting gassed out when you're playing 27 games in a little over a month here when you start on March 28th?
That's a good question. You got to have, I call it kind of the pulse of the ball club. You got to know, kind of monitor their arms for practices and games, when to go a little harder. Then there's days, when we take infield, we'll just have the players throw the ball in the buckets behind them, save arms. But you just got to kind of monitor, have that pulse, especially if the kids have thrown the day before. It's just it's a constant monitoring, and especially with us, since we don't have the numbers, so we really got to pay attention to the injury factor.
Let's transition into your schedule. I know JFK never shies away from the tough schedule. Who are some teams that pop up on it this year that you're really excited to test yourself against?
Well, we got to start with Lake Christian in our conference. They're one of the top teams in the. I think they moved up to Division 5, if I'm not mistaken. But they were well coached. They won the conference last year. I have a lot of respect for them, so we're going to play them twice. So it starts right in our conference, and then we got Cardinal Mooney, who always puts a quality program on the field. Ursuline, Boardman. So we try to do this on purpose. We want to face the best, and hopefully that rubs off a little bit for the tournament.
When you have such a tough schedule, you're never going to get through. Well, I mean, I'm sure you hope you get through it unscathed, but you're probably not going to get through it without a little bit of adversity here and there. Talk about, as a coach, you've had a tough schedule for a long time. This is nothing new to you. How do you toe the line of keeping the kids confident while also keeping them tested with these hard matchups? And how do you kind of manage making sure their confidence level doesn't go down if adversity hits?
Well, like I've told numerous media places, we usually get off to a slow start because of the basketball situation, and when we play these teams, we're going out there. We expect to win, but at the same time, we keep it in perspective. Obviously, we want to compete for our league title. But then the biggest thing is getting ready for the state tournament, and you reiterate to these kids that we're playing some quality teams, and we may take some bruises, but that's just to toughen it up for the tournament.
Coach, I know you and your staff have worked hard to build up this program ever since you took the job. If you had to describe the culture of JFK baseball, what would you how would you describe what you want and the goals of the culture of this Eagles baseball team?
Well, I told the kids this whole winter, the expectations don't change. The kids change, the players change, the years change, but the expectation will always be the same. To compete for titles, both in the league, district, regional, and obviously state. That's just the mindset that we have, and the kids, hopefully, that come in, they see that, they know what the expectations are every year, and that's just the way we want to present things.
We know how much you pour into the sport of baseball. You're a baseball guy. It's kind of this in the genes of your personality. What do you love so much about this sport, especially coaching at this level? What keeps you coming back every year?
First of all, I love the game of baseball. It's meant so much to me in my life. It's done a lot of great things for me. I love kids, and I love teaching the game to the kids. And the competitiveness is another thing that drives me. You put all those ingredients together, and that's why I still have a passion to do this.
Coach, we know that you get the interviews, you get kind of the limelight, but we also know that you don't do it by yourself. You have a great staff and support system that help build this program up. I want to make sure I give you the time to highlight those people behind you that build this JFK program with you. Talk about the people on your staff and maybe the administration as well that really are good support systems for this program and what you've been able to build.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a team effort. Everybody contributes in their own way. We all have our roles. I'm going to start with my pitching coach, Carmen DeCristofaro. He's if not one of the best pitching coaches I've been around in my in coaching career and even playing career. He does a tremendous job with the pitchers, monitoring, building their arm strength, working with mechanics, and trying to match them up in the game situations as best as he can. I got Zach Tasker, who's kind of call him my bench coach. He's always running things by me in this situation. If this happens, if this situation, this happens, we bring this pitcher in, what lineup we go with. So he's always pushing me to think. I think he's going to be an outstanding coach at the high school level one day. Another assistant is Pat Mokris, and Pat does a lot of the work that he goes unseen, but he does a tremendous job of spreading the culture, getting the funds for us to practice at different facilities, gear, just all the expenses that go into a high school baseball season. He does a tremendous job. He's a great person. All these guys are great people. Joey Canan, another person on our staff, he's kind of our assistant pitching coach. He came on last year, and he's learning from Carmen the way we go about setting up our pitching situation. So you got those four. We got tremendous support with the administration, starting with our principal, Elise Consiglio, and our athletic director, Al Gregos. They really support us in what we're trying to do. And again, everybody, I believe it's a team effort from the top to the bottom in order to be successful in any organization.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for your time talking to us about this program. We're so excited for baseball season. I know you guys are as well. We look forward to the season with JFK, covering you guys all season, and we can't wait to talk again real soon.
Okay, thank you. And again, when I'm on it here, I always want to say thank you for all you guys do for high school sports. I do appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Coach. Definitely your time, especially in the middle of the day. Once again, thank you for the time and good luck this season.
Thank you. Bye.
So there you have it. Anthony Hartwig hitting hard-hitting questions. Journalism.
Journalism. Period. Journalism.
Coach Chimbody is awesome. I mean, you're not going to get a more humble human being. But that comes with the territory of JFK too. I mean, you look at every single one of their coaches, every single person that walks into that building, humility, faith, everything that comes with it. And then you roll it into sports. I mean, I'm getting text messages while that is airing, and people are like, JFK is going to be some dogs. Yeah, they lost some pieces, some big pieces, key pieces. You see what Caleb's doing at YSU. He's a stallion. He's a stud. And you know, when you lose that from a small school, it's a big impact. But you fill in, and JFK, they do it better than anybody. Filling in those gaps, filling in those holes, and somehow new heroes emerge always from JFK during the season. And I am so looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, and they still have some pieces too, like Dom Ryan, Taggart Carfangea comes back.
Yep,
he's a dog. So they still have, and they have a deep, Freddie Bochok. They have a deep pitching rotation, like we said at the top of the interview. So they're gonna be something to contend with. Not a lot of schools that size have the arms and the depth, I should say, of pitchers that JFK does.
Steve Hamburger says it best: you don't rebuild, you reload. Next man up. But it's. I think we are overlooking the challenge that is, right? It's easy. It's a great tagline. Yeah. Great tagline, right? Steelers, the standard is the standard until it's not. You know, it's easy to reload and rebuild until you can't. But somehow, some way, you know, our schools around here, JFK, a great example of it, just continue to do it. I mean, we talked to Jim Hannock on Friday. Yep. They lost a lot. I mean, Tyler Wardle's playing baseball at the next level. And, you know, you look at what they lost, what they have left. And, you know, I think you and I have learned our lesson. We don't count teams out.
No,
we don't. Not those teams.
Not those teams.
Not those.
Not when they've proven time and time again that they can lose players and come back the next year and still be the same stature, the same standard.
And do you think, from your perspective, that the expansion of the divisions helps some of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Lake Christian, who's one of the teams that is going to always standing in JFK's way, will still stand in their way for a conference championship. They're still going to have to deal with them in the conference, but they're up in Division 5 now, so JFK does not have to deal with them in Division 7. That's always a tough out when you have to play them in the tournament, because they're a team that's in your conference. You play them twice. They're very talented. So having to maybe beat them a third time, or at least go 2 out of 3 with them in a season, is always hard in the tournament. And so, yeah, things like that. I think the expansion for divisions helps, especially the smaller schools, a lot more. And we're seeing that in every sport that we've seen the expansion so far.
I just realized you are a baby-faced assassin.
I got it. I got to look good for the All-Star game. You know, we're going back out in public for the first time in a couple of weeks on Saturday.
I thought you took that. We had that conversation the other day about our hairlines, and I don't want you to look the same. So I thought you took that like literally.
Took it to heart. Yep. No, I let the beard grow to an extent, and then there's a point when I'm just sick of it. Like I can feel it move with my face, and I just go, got to get rid of that real quick. So it goes for about 3 weeks at a time. I let it get to a point because I really do not enjoy shaving. It's not fun. So I let it go for about 3 weeks, and then once it gets to a point where I'm like, this is not fun anymore, we shave it off.
Shaving. Oh, that's where you draw the line.
When you can't stand up to a mirror to see what you're doing.
Well, that's a good point.
Feel. You know, it gets tough. It gets tough.
And those of us that are vertically challenged.
Right.
We're in that same boat. What's the shirt today? The microphone's hiding it.
Youngstown. We're both wearing Youngstown. We got the unplanned duo, and this is from the Youngstown Clothing Company, of course.
What does
Shout
that?
out
What
to
does
them.
it say? Youngstown. What?
It's Youngstown, Ohio, and it's got the sky. My mic's
that's
in the way.
nice.
I'll just make the mic out.
There we go.
Youngstown, Ohio. It's got the skyline. Yeah.
Looks good.
It's a nice hoodie. It's nice and warm. I
Comfortable.
get my hoodies about a size big, so the sleeves go over the hands a little bit more. So like if it's cold, you can do this really easily and keep your hands all covered.
Youngstown Clothing getting it done. Always.
Yep, absolutely.
Always. Our favorites. No doubt about it. Well, Ant, short show today. I mean, I guess not
really.
as short.
We're still going to come in at about over 45 minutes when it's all said and done. Putting the
a lot
work.
of stuff. How do we keep this tongue in cheek? A lot of stuff going on in our little hemisphere here, in the sports media hemisphere in Youngstown. A lot of stuff going on.
There was
a lot of stuff.
There's some stuff.
Sure. And you as well as I have gotten a lot of messages, and we've been in a lot of what's the word?
It's fine. It's funny. We're kind of, you and me are both kind of like when stuff happens outside of our media company, like we're still texted, like we know what's going on. Like we're supposed to know everything that's going on with other people. It's like, I don't know.
Buddy, I'm sitting there last
source.
night. Well, they wanted to know like what was going on. I'm like, ask him.
I don't know.
I mean, them. Ask them. Not like
all of them.
Yeah, text them all. Like I don't. We try to stay in our lane the best we can, and we do a really crappy job at it a lot of the time. but we try. We try really hard to stay in our lane. It
don't
really,
come in ours though. That's the rule.
Like we get fished into other lanes, right? Like it's like, hey, what about this? And you're like, oh, okay, because you and I will be in the middle of something, and then all of a sudden, left turn. And that's the life we live. But like a lot of stuff going on, a lot of this. There we go. A lot of chatter.
Yeah,
a lot of chatter. We have nothing to do with it. I can promise you, it ain't us. We got nothing to do with it. We are hiring though. I will put it that way. We are hiring.
We're hiring.
We are hiring. We've made it abundantly clear through the last couple weeks. We are hiring. We've got internships coming up. So if you'd like to be an intern with YSN, you're more than welcome.
Doesn't have to be a broadcaster either. If you like graphic design, if you like writing stories in a long form type of way, if you like getting into the social media world, you want to intern with Anthony and come along and run social media accounts, whatever you want. Like we got some spots open. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm not good at broadcasting. Well, we got some other things you can do around here at YSN if you don't necessarily like being behind the mic. There's other things to do.
Or you could be on the mic. I mean,
you can be on the mic.
We're good with it. You could be on our show here
too. Like if you want to be a YSN photographer and help Gary out and be under his umbrella.
And Mahoning Valley Sports and
Mahoning
Phoenix
Valley
Photography
Sports
and Magic Moments and you what are the other ones, Ant? Shout
Phoenix
them out.
Photography out there. Big shout out to Colin Chadwick and Chadwick Sports Photography, pretty much the center of Lakeview and Maplewood sports that we use pictures from those two schools. It's almost always Colin Chadwick out there.
Brad
Devine for Crestview, of course. There's a lot of student ones that are starting to peek in too. Star Shot This Photography, and we have Leslie Lesnack from Springfield gives us a lot of great shots of their girls sports teams. So there's a lot of photographers out there that we've been able to build relationships with,
and we want to help raise you up. We want you to be on our platform, but ultimately we have 13.5 million views that we had last year. That's a lot of eyes on your work. This past weekend, Big Dogs exploded.
Yeah.
A lot of votes. And you want to talk about that real quick before we go?
Because there's a little glitch. We understood it.
Yeah. So I'm not a computer or website
Mhm.
maker. I have tech ability, but it's not great. And we ran into a glitch with the Big Dog system that it was some kind of error about a refer
Yeah, I would say
um,
failed to
to
verify.
verify
refer.
refer. Yeah, so we had a ticket out, which I'm learning about some of the the
Terminal lingo.
terminology. So we had a ticket out, and then we didn't get anything back. And then, luckily we had some help with a guy that has been with us since the jump. And with the new website that we got a couple years ago, we didn't really like. There's a lot of new bells and whistles we didn't understand with the Big Dogs thing, especially. We've had this issue in the past.
Yes.
What we used before did not work, or worked for a very small amount of time, and then the error came back. I mean, it was literally a 4-minute fix that we were so lucky to have. Now we've got it down pat. But with that, we understand the frustration because people are sitting there trying to vote, and we're getting message after message after email after email.
Yep,
and I'm
yep.
sitting there, I'm like, okay, we got to get this fixed. We have to get this corrected because it's important. This Big Dog of the Year is important to a lot of different people,
Mhm.
right? It's important to families, communities, obviously the student athletes, all the people we always talk about. So we lost about 24 hours of voting. So what we decided to do out of fairness was extend it 24 hours. So instead of tonight, it ending at midnight, the semifinals will end tomorrow night at midnight. So you have, about a day and a half left to vote for whoever you want for Big Dogs of the Valley, for wrestling, for girls basketball, and for boys basketball. So that was the only thing we could kind of come up with,
Right.
and be like, hey, how do we make this right? And that's what we're always trying to do, is make it right. So by the way, Big Dogs semifinals, we're taking the top two. We've never done it before. We're taking the top two. I like this a little better.
Yeah.
And then they just battle it out next week as we lead up to or this week rather, as we lead up to the All-Star game. So
Yeah, what we've done in the past, of course, is we've taken the group of winners and split them into two different polls, and the winner of those two polls go into the finals. And now it's just one poll, and the top two vote getters get into the finals now. Which I think you're right. I think it cuts out a little bit of the meat there. I don't think we need that extra week to pick the top two. I think the winners are going to be the winners. I think it would have probably come out the same way that it will tomorrow night if we split them into two different polls anyway. So why not just have one poll and say the top two vote getters get to move on to the championship?
Well, there was some frustration. And the reason we did this was because people were like, well, you're putting us against this person.
Mhm.
And I'm like, we don't choose who we put people up against. It's just,
Right.
So this was just the easiest way. Okay, everybody's going to be against everybody, and the top two make it, and everybody else, congratulations, you were the Big Dog of the Valley for that particular week. And that the whole thing about this isn't necessarily, and this is going to sound bad, who wins and who loses. It is another week to have your name in lights and people supporting you. And, it really is. That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
We're grateful for Bear Brothers for supporting this, for coming up with this. It's different than everybody else. We're being copied all over the internet, especially right here in our own valley. Mahoning Matters likes taking. I mean, I'll point them out. I'll call them out. They love taking our stuff without permission and rolling it out as if it's their own. They've done that to a lot of people, a lot of journalists. They do it all the time. That's how they make their living, is basically taking other people's ideas and things. They're not good. There are good journalists over there, but unfortunately they are kind of brought down by what they do on an everyday basis for clicks. Like that's all they want to do is get your click. That's it. And they'll use whatever means necessary to do it. That's just, point blank, everybody that's in a journalism or news business is going to tell you the exact same thing. That's what they're after. They used to be a great organization, run by Google, all that stuff. They were backed by Google with a lot of great. Now they've got a guy that leading the way that just not great, not super.
When you cut corners, the final picture doesn't come out too well. So
yeah, and it's not good to take from other people.
it's this thing called illegal. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's copying other people's work and then not giving them credit. It's this thing called copyright fraud.
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism. It's beyond not good. It's flat out. It's illegal. It's not. Yeah. You shouldn't do it. Don't do it.
And it's not just with us. And like it's almost flattering at this point, because they know we're. Mm-hmm. I don't want to come off as pompous, but we're kicking their ass. We're kicking a lot of ass all over this area. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. Right. And when they steal it, and it's stolen, and they change a couple words here or there, we know. But you and I have made the conscious decision to just be like, hey, just keep on going, because we're too busy to worry about that anyway. Kind of why we led into this conversation. We're too busy to handle some of the other stuff, but it gets brought to, again, I've been blocked by more media entities than I care to admit
for nothing,
because
they're not attacking them. We don't go on their social media and at them like crazy. Like, just don't want to see what they're doing for some reason. And
it's
kind of sketchy.
We have great people in our ecosystem, right? That come and say, hey, just they're saying this about you. Okay. Cool. And when you're winning, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to talk about you and they're going to hate you because they want to be either like you or they want to beat you, and it's not happening. If this was a football game, we'd be up by 55. If this was a baseball game, 10-run rule is in effect.
Yeah, it's in effect.
So there was a while there we kind of worried and just kind of it drew our attention. It was like a lightning bug, right? You're looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, lightning bugs are out, and it's just enough distraction to throw you off your game.
Yep,
is what it is, right? Is what it is. I love this. Rob Johnson. He knows a thing or two about putting it on the scoreboard. But for those of you who'd like to read between the lines, there it is. We have nothing to do with it. And we are making no, how do I put this? This isn't the WWE bringing in the WCW. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're about. We have standards, we have morals, and we're going to continue to stick to those, because there's a lot of bad stuff out there, a lot of conversation out there, and we like the conversation to stay that we respect our student athletes, our coaches, and our communities. We're more than just a scoreboard. We have one. We'll continue to have one. We'll continue to be here. But we like to think that we're a first-class company that continues to do the right thing. And if we do the wrong thing, we'll admit to it.
Right, we made mistakes. Sure. What we always say, fail forward, Yeah.
And hey, things got a little heated, I should say. Was that Friday night? Saturday night?
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night?
Yep. Every All-Star game brings at least one out,
Yeah.
I think we had less this year than we've had in All-Star games past, but we had to have that one.
But you have a conversation,
mm-hmm.
right? And we don't take things personally until it's put into our laps personally, right?
There's a line.
And we don't typically engage on social media, especially from our personal accounts.
Right.
And it was one of those things, and it was just a misunderstanding. And what I loved about it was coming out and having a conversation, and then it's, hey, I appreciate you, being willing to have this conversation with us. And, a lot of times that's the issue is you think we're trying to do something and we're already baking in the oven. We're already cooking the meal.
Right.
And it's okay. We'll make adjustments, but you got to understand why we're doing things the way that we have a few years experience in this particular realm, and we understand that there's going to be frustration and not every kid is going to make the All-Star game, which is frustrating, but at some point we got to cut things off. We've got, you said 60 girls.
60 girls representing 52 schools.
And, boys, we're going to have, they're about the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's no other All-Star game in this area or otherwise in the country that has that many representation in one game. One game. People call us stupid. They call us silly. They call us all kinds of names that we can't say on the air. We can, but we won't.
We can. There's no FCC, but we won't.
But the end goal, Anthony, is that we want to put on a good show, raise money for a good organization, or nonprofit, or charity, and we want to show it how it's done. To be able to give back and these opportunities for those memories, right? Because not everybody's going to be able to be on the floor during the regular season, preseason, or postseason with some of the student athletes that they're going to be on the floor with on Saturday night. I mean, Rob Johnson, perfect analogy or perfect example, I should say, of, I mean, you're going to have two guys on that floor that are state champions from the night before.
Yep.
That if you are JFK or if you are Lowellville, Latonia, East Palace, I mean, name all. You've never been on the floor with guys of that stature, right?
Right. Playing
and
with
vice
them.
versa. And you're going to say, I played with a state champion. That kid is going D1 or whatever, you know what I mean? And they do great things. And they're going to be able to say that about the other kids too.
Yep. And then when you're not on the floor, I mean, we've seen this every All-Star game. Kids take the opportunity to get to know people on the bench. And I got to talk to and pick the brain of a state champion. I got to, just quote unquote break bread with a state champion and just kind of have that experience. We are about the experience of the All-Star game. It's not a showcase. We've said that many times. It is not a showcase. It is a All-Star game. It is about the experience of these student athletes to come out and have a lot of fun. We encourage them to have their cell phones out during the bench, while they're on the bench, use their social media accounts, have fun with it. We are not a showcase. We're not trying to, worry about necessarily playing time on the All-Star game. We're worried about, are you having fun with it? Are you having a good time at the All-Star game?
Who's going to be the first person to use their phone on the floor? That's what I want to see. I want to see how we can get someone to use the phone on the floor.
Put the phone on the rim, set the timer, selfie during the dunk.
Oh my gosh. Hey, it is official. We will have a new dunk champion this year.
Yeah.
It is official. Nick Ryan can't make it. He wants to be there too. And that's what stinks. But he's unable to make it. It's their spring break, right?
Yeah, it is their spring break.
Yeah, which that's a beast, man.
Because once again, Easter is so late that there's a lot of schools that are having spring break and then a small Easter break during the holiday.
Here it is. RJ saying BG is going to have the cell phone dunk. I'm just saying that would get 1 million views by itself. Like electric.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to get creative this year to win the slam dunk contest. Mm-hmm. Gavin Gregory's in. Did I see that right?
Yep, he's in.
From the crowd to the court.
Maybe he should implement something like that. Maybe he should come down from the crowd and make that be his intro.
I want to see mascots. Should we put like the Shield music from WWE and he comes out, or Uso comes out of the crowd, Double G's comes out of the crowd? I think Jace Ricardo. I think he's the underdog.
Whew.
I think Jace Ricardo is the underdog in this slam dunk contest. He's 6'5", right? Something around that.
Throw it down, man.
I think he's the underdog. Derek Wilson from LeBray.
Yeah.
Jumping in, and that was hey, I want to be in this.
Yes.
Oh.
And then the last one, we have 6, right?
Hey,
check the good old spreadsheet.
If we got 7, I'm not mad at it.
Because I've done so many names over the last weekend. It's all mushed at this point.
Well, yeah, they've been in and out. You've been doing, Ant, you've been doing an awesome job.
So we have Graham Hakinen.
Yep.
From South Range, Gavin Gregory, Jace Ricardo, Cooper Brown from Columbiana. That's the guy that we didn't mention, but needs mention that he might be a dark horse as well. He had an alley-oop in the AAU this weekend that the Ohio Lakers put on their social media account between him and Barnes from Lisbon off the glass alley-oop dunk in a game situation on a breakaway. That's something else. And then Braden Gross from Louisville and Derek Wilson from LeBray are going to be our dunkers as we
6?
stand now.
I lost count.
6 as of now. Yes.
Once you get off that one hand, I'm out.
You're the extra finger
minute,
like Bruce
Almighty. Hey, you know what? Ashton Marshall, you're invited.
Bring it.
Come on in.
Be your 7.
Come on in.
Let's
RJ,
go.
we'll put you in charge of that. Getting him. Hey, if you make it to the state championship game, you pretty much write your own story.
Yep.
For an all-star game. You're pretty much all all-stars. Ashton Marshall, you want to come? You want to be part of the slam dunk contest?
Jump over the trophy. See what that gives you.
I'm pretty sure Tom Siegfried would have an issue. Pretty sure. Because if he comes up a little bit short.
Don't you do it.
You smash the state championship trophy. There's gonna be some fallout. Let's put it that way.
That's why we try to like, hey, let's no props, right? That are gonna put you in danger. We're only on a trampoline.
Here's the thing. We're letting the
jump
props
over the kid
go
in the
this
wheelchair.
year. Props? Yeah, you don't jump over Anthony or Scotty.
Or Scotty. You can jump over Radar.
Radar, yeah, he's fair game. The only thing is that's the only rule. You can't jump over people. Right. If you want alley-oop dunks, if you want to incorporate people that you're not jumping over, we're happy to have it because I've heard rumors, and there might be a mascot there.
Oh.
Might be part of the dunk competition. Might be in the dunk competition.
Oh, if someone throws down in the mascot suit.
That's all I'm saying. Okay, here we go. Jelly Daddy, Bob Burek. I could jump over DJ.
Oh.
I bet there's credit cards that Bob Burek couldn't jump over. Namely his.
Now the arrows are being shot.
Come on, big boy. You want to jump over me? Come on. I would love to have that streaming. I just know that I'd probably have a concussion and because there's no way. I've seen the athleticism of Bob Burek on full display. Full display. So anytime, Double B's, if you're ready, we'll set it up. But it gets streamed because I want the views because I know I'm going to have a healthy bill, medical bill after it. No, I love it. Love it. Louisville, we're excited for you. We're excited for you. We're excited for this week. Can you imagine the anticipation, Ant, this week? Game on Friday. I mean, this is like football field.
That's one of the things, like when you when you win Sunday, then you have to wait until Friday to play. It's gonna build that anticipation all week. It's gonna end up being like an active volcano that's waiting to blow up on Friday at 1:00.
Like this does feel like football, right? Because
Yeah.
you're basically by week.
Yep.
You won on Sunday. Now you got to wait almost a week to play. Like this, I know. I know what we said. I know what we said. I hate it, but now I love it. The anticipation part of it. I hate that we have to do it, but this kind of has that NFL feel, that high school football vibe to it.
Mhm.
If I'm a coach, I'm despising this because. But who do you think has the advantage? Do you think Louisville does film study better than anybody? I'm in that camp.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have the same amount of time to film study. I think one of the things that goes into it, like winning the way you did in Louisville, having that kind of excitement, and once again, shout out to Start County because they're going to have two teams in the state championship because the Massillon Perry Panthers are moving on as well.
Mm-hmm.
They finished the season at 9-13, didn't care about it. They still went to a state championship. So two teams in Stark County making the trip down to Dayton. But Louisville, yeah, I mean, when you have a coaching staff that Tom Siegfried has, and you have the smart and the IQ to be able to have I mean, if you don't, I'm sure they're not practicing. They'll practice today, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days of practice. And probably maybe a shoot around at Dayton before the game as well, to kind of prepare. It's a lot of time. And Cincinnati, you don't have to travel too far to get to Dayton, so you're maybe not taking the time to get as many people down there. I don't know what Cincinnati Aiken's about, but we're gonna find out.
We got to get Swiney on at some point this week. I mean, he's got more info about this. I mean, he needs to be a regular segment on our show.
He's the encyclopedia, man.
Who's the dude that for ESPN? The
Schwab. Remember the old game show Stump the Schwab?
That's our guy. Swiney is our Schwab. Crazy about Massillon. Perry, they finished 5th in their conference out of 7 teams.
And that's the Federal League. We all know how tough that conference is, but it's all about how you finish. 9-13 regular season record.
Well, let's face it.
Doesn't matter. You're going to the state championship.
You have a conference championship or a state championship. Which one do you want? I mean,
I think you're taking the state.
Well, statey.
And the way they won both their games, I mean, they won a thriller against North Royalton to get to this state championship, and then the regional championship against Warren Harding, winning at the buzzer. They're living on a prayer right now.
Ty is not the Schwab.
No,
Ty's a lot of things.
Ty's a robot.
Yeah, Ty's a lot of things. He is not the Schwab, and that is no disrespect to Ty Bartell whatsoever, Mikey. You, sir.
Mm-hmm. We're talking local sports. That's Mike's realm. If you want to trivia with national sports, try to stump Ty. That's fine. But
listen,
we're talking hyper local.
If you're on the show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Right.
That's your call.
Right.
Is Ty Bartell, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Because first off, he's not going to burn. Like I remember watching that show when Regis Philbin was hosting, right?
Oh, that
guy there was one guy on the phone. He answered it real quick, and they just chatted it up for like 40 seconds after that.
Regis Philbin was a master class of psychological warfare as a show host, trying to get you to second guess yourself. He knew money was on the line.
Find out.
He knew the part of his paycheck went into that $1 million that you're going to win.
Is that your final answer?
Are you sure?
No.
No. Oh.
Hang on, Reg. Hang on.
Oh,
There's a generation that doesn't know who Regis Philbin is.
Oh, that's sad. He's a generational.
All right, let's put a bow on her. It is time for the Joe Dickey. Wow, wait a minute. Dang it. Here we go again. I'm terrible at this. Anthony, there's two great sponsors. There's 2 great sponsors every day that make this show possible, and they probably hate our guts. Although this does draw more attention to those sponsors when we do miss it and we do have to go back. Tell us about one of the greatest sponsors on YSN since day one.
Well, Greenwood Chevrolet, in Austin town, they go the extra mile for you And we've always tried to follow their lead in the shows we run, in the interviews we do, in the games we call. We always try to go the extra mile for the YSN family. And we've gotten that mold from the Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown staff. They go the extra mile for you, whether you are in need of a new or used vehicle, or maybe you want to call up the service department because your Chevrolet needs some fixing. The service department will always take care of you down there at Greenwood Chevrolet. Make sure to call them up or go down there and visit them in Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Once again, they go the extra mile for you.
And if you're looking for the coolest people you're ever going to meet, if you're looking to not only get your oil changed and your tires rotated, your car serviced, if you're looking for a Sprite in the middle of the day, and you listen, it can be boring, it can be a bad experience, it can be a situation where you're just like, man, I got to get out of here. You got to check out our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Because let me tell you something. You go hang out there for a little bit, time flies like Peter Pan. Gone. Out of here. And they're going to do it right for you. They're going to make sure you're taken care of. They're going to make sure you got that Sprite. They're going to make sure that you got a smiling face in that place. Tino Merlo, handsome devil. And he's going to make sure you're taken care of at Toyota Warren. So if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle or service to your Toyota, hey, Toyota Warren. They keep it real, 100%. And I love my Toyota Tundra. My wife loves her Toyota 4Runner. Can't recommend them enough. And they've been a proud sponsor for the last 3 years. And we can't thank them enough. Thank you so much. Hey, Tina, everybody out there, Toyota Warren, Greenwood Chevrolet, thank you for allowing us to do what we do each and every day. And there's somebody else, Ant, that's out there allowing us to do what we do, to live this silly life that we live, full of drama that we don't necessarily subscribe to, but we always end up somehow right in the middle of that circus ring as the ringmaster. That's Joe Dickey Electric. Eric Carlson, the whole team over at Joe Dickey Electric, they've been proud sponsors for years, and they love being the spark that ignites the fire in this valley, and we love having them. And this spark, brought to you thanks to our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. You can visit them on the web. They are everything electrical. Go over to DickeyElectric.com. 24/7, 365. Not many places open like that since COVID. They're always open on the web at DickeyElectric.com. That may be the greatest advertising promotion we've ever done. Right on the screws.
We're good on the fly, guys.
Script.
Get
them out of here. On the fly. Ad lib, if you will.
Right.
Cooking with gas.
Good luck finding a car commercial that talks about how much Sprite you're going to get when you visit their service department, right? I mean, that's one of the unnamed things that they'll go into. You get the Sprite, obey your thirst.
Here's the other thing. Yeah, obey your thirst. But if you're in a real sticky situation with sugar, they probably got, I'm guessing, they got Sprite Zero.
Yeah.
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
I can't name Pepsi products right there because I'm not sure they have it. And I don't want to go into
sponsored. They might be Coke sponsored.
Really hoping that there's a Coke Zero in there, because otherwise Tino's going to be giving me a call after this program. But yeah, hey, you got to dial it in there. And hey, I think we did right by our sponsors today.
Hey, my spark today is that unplanned, we're matching. We're repping the Y, and we're very close to YSU baseball being live on the air on YSN as they come home pretty soon.
It was Friday. Friday they were in.
They were there. Yeah, they were in the home opener, season conference opener as well. So repping the Y on a Monday, unplanned. You and me doing it. Grit City. That's how we do.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. I had a spark. I lost it because I was in the midst of the advertisement tornado that we just threw out there. I'm going to go with, hey, big thanks to everybody that makes this possible. And I know it's a very generic one, but I'm saying this from a very special place in my heart, because we're going to be here for a while. We're not going anywhere. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And I'm proud to do it. Proud to rep the Y. Not only on this. Proud to represent YSN. Proud to represent YSN, what it stands for, what it's becoming, what it will continue to become. Because, Ant, like we talk about, just getting started. Just getting started. Prospect, April 2nd. If you're out there and you want to play at the next level, you want to get the word out about what your game looks like, we need you to go over to ysnprospect.com. Sign up today. Sign it up. Let's get you on board. And, hey, we'll be talking about you on YSN. YSN Live. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Do we have...
we just got confirmed via email right before the show. Jennifer Coons, the head coach of the United softball team, will be live on the show 12:15.
And we have Ryan Wolf. Will be a taped interview from today into tomorrow. We'll have that on the show for you. And Wednesday, here's the real spark. Wednesday, we will have the YSN All-Star Draft right here at noon on our show. So you know what that means? Spinning the wheel of destiny. You know, I've already been reached out to coaches. Hey, my kid needs to be wearing this away jersey. Sorry about it. You got to bow down to the wheel of destiny.
Yeah, it's all about the wheel. We
got nothing but love for the wheel. But hey, Jesus takes it, spins it, and he's gonna be spinning it. Jesus taking the wheel on Wednesday afternoon, right here at noon on YSN Live. We will have the live draft of boys and girls. We might even throw in a little bit of the who's going to be batting where during these contests. Right. I think that might be an interesting thing. A little first ever. Champions advantage, though, I will tell you this. If they are a champion from last year, they get to pick where they go. That's only fair. It's only right. We have a champion in the 3-2-1. We have a champion in the 3-point contest for boys. Yep. That's it. Everybody else, right?
Yeah, everyone else isn't brand new.
So there we go. We're going to put their places where they're going to bat in the order, so to speak, on Wednesday as well. Anything left? Did we hit it all?
I think we got it all.
Sweet baby
that
Jesus.
Bow is securely tied.
We did it. We did. Hey, we made it, Ant. We made it. Congratulations. We made it through Monday. This is supposed to be a short show.
We're always good at that. We got you covered.
The gifted gab and the gifted jab. Here we go. That is the end of the Monday St. Patty. Hey, happy St. Patty's Day, by the way.
We're sorry we didn't wear green. I don't have any. I tried. Green is not a prominent color in my closet.
Probably shouldn't have brought St. Patty's Day up there, right there. Hey, we'll rise again. May the road rise to meet you, as they say. The old Irish proverb. This has been YSN Live for St. Patty's Day 2025, March 17th. We will see you tomorrow, March 18th. Carlos Baerga Day here on YSN. Ant, thanks for being you, man. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down that road and back again.
Thank you for being a friend.
There it is. We'll see you next time right here on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.